My name is Kayla. It is something that I do actually really truly believe in, that there are spirits that are here to help us, bad or good.
My name is Alex. Right from behind us, you just hear, this is my ghost story.
I'm not originally from Los Angeles, so I moved here about 4 years ago. And when I first moved here, I moved in with a woman who was a friend of a friend. I didn't know anybody whatsoever. I don't have any friends or family that lived here. So she suggested that I join or go check out her coven that they meet at Griffith Park like every full moon to have a saging. So I was like, okay, sure, why not? I'll go check out this coven. Unfortunately, one day that I decided to go, she didn't go, so I had to go by myself. But then I was late because I didn't really know Los Angeles traffic as well, and I was going to Griffith Park for the first time. And Griffith Park, if you don't know, it's huge, it's gigantic. If you drive through it, there's like a carousel, lots of hikes that you can go do, there's tennis, a lot of stuff there. And so therefore it's really, really big. I didn't know where I was going, unfortunately, but I did have my GPS that kind of lent an idea of where I would go. So I followed the GPS. I parked closest to where I was supposed to be going, which was Amir's garden. Again, I was also an hour late. We were supposed to meet in the parking lot in order to make our way up to the garden. I had to go find out for where it was myself. So I just went and I was like, oh, there's a trail. I'm just gonna follow that trail right over there. That seems like a good idea. I was kind of following my intuition about where I was gonna go. And then at one point, I remember I started hearing drumming, but I thought, hey, it's a coven, so that would make sense. There would be drumming, right? So of course I followed the drumming, going in and out, up and down, all over Griffith Park, just following my intuition and the drumming, figuring out where I needed to go. Then I eventually ended up at this dead tree, and it was a gigantic tree. So it was one that kind of stood out to me. Definitely something to remember for later. I continued past that tree, and there was nowhere else to go. And I was looking out on this vast forest of trees. And I see out of the corner of my eye something that's white and it's moving, but it is gigantic. I look at it, it doesn't move, but it's still there, this big giant white thing. But every time I'm not looking at it, it's moving. That's kind of weird, but maybe there could just be, I don't know, a cloth out in the middle of somewhere. I decided to go backwards because I hadn't found the coven and I now reached a dead end. As I'm walking back, I go past that dead tree again, and I take note of that and continue on. Something in me, for some reason, tells me to look back. And as I looked back, at that dead tree was the white thing that I had seen way far in the distance. How did it get here when I walked? No, it doesn't really matter to me. So I just booked it and left. It had like flowy something around its body, just going around. And I was like, okay, this is not something I really want to deal with. I'm gonna go that way now. So I ran until I got to these stairs, and I was like, this seems like a good idea, because if something is actually following me, maybe it wouldn't follow me up the stairs. That's just my logic. So I went up the stairs, and then there was the coven. Part of me kind of thinks that the ghost was kind of like there, not as something to harm me, but more as to help me find what I was looking for. Maybe like a forest spirit or something like that. When I did get to the coven finally, they were doing their saging, and I did see that they had drums, so it was them that was actually drumming. And so I was like, okay, cool, makes sense now. There's nothing to give to why I saw a ghost. I didn't actually tell anybody, and I haven't really actually told this story to many people. I think maybe one other person. It made such an impact on me that I was like, this was abnormal. This was not something that normally happens when you go to a forest and you see a gigantic white thing.
My mom was born in Spain. She's from a very small coastal town outside of the city of Ferrol in the region of Galicia. We have a familial home there. In 2013, I went with one of my best friends, and we went for a couple weeks, and on the last couple of nights, we decided to go out and try and do some night photography. We decided the perfect setting for that would be the lighthouse, or as they call it there, El Faro. So to get there, you have to walk through the town. And then once you walk through the town, you have to walk through a forest, and then you kind of take the coastal road up to the lighthouse. I remember very specifically about both these nights. It was a moonless night. We leave at about 12 a.m. We go, we take pictures, we finish up at 2 a.m. We have a great time. We have such a good time doing it and so much fun, we decide to go the second night. We decided to stay out a little longer than we did the night before. It's 3 a.m. We decide to walk back. We're walking, we get to the forest. All of a sudden, we're just walking, and then right from behind us, you just hear this shriek, this female shriek. Our bodies instantly filled with fear. What do we do? Do we run? Do we stand our ground? Is someone hurt? A second scream. Just right in front of us there in the darkness. And at that point, we run for our lives. And as we're running away, you hear the scream twice more. We eventually make it out, trying to collect ourselves. Are we safe? What just happened? What do we do? Collect ourselves and we start walking back to the house through the town. Now, in this town, a lot of people have gates covering their front yards. And a lot of people have dogs. Usually the dogs will run up to the gates and bark at you. And it was weird that night because the dogs ran up to the gate, but they weren't barking. They were just very maybe they sensed our tension, but they were very their hair standing up, almost growling at us, like they just sensed something with us or sensed something around us. So we make it back to the house and, the adrenaline is still pumping, it felt otherworldly almost. It felt like something really that night was saying, get out, you're not supposed to be here, leave now. And I am eternally grateful that nothing emerged from the darkness that night. I have been back to Spain since. I went last year. I took a walk at 12 a.m. one night, and when I made it to the entrance of the forest, it probably took me about 15 minutes to convince myself to probably walk through there again. This time I made sure to wear dark clothes. I had the music on headphones. I didn't want anything to know I was there. And I ran through that forest. And then when I went back to the town, I ran through it again. Don't know if I could ever go back out there at 3:15 in the morning again. I would probably need a few hundred people with me.
The paranormal and supernatural is something that I have definitely been interested in for a very long time. So this really isn't something that causes any abnormality to me. I don't think like, oh my gosh, this isn't crazy, this would never happen. But I think it is possible. So that's why I think for me, it is something that I do actually really truly believe in, that there are spirits that are here to help us, bad or good. It just really depends upon the environment that you are in as a person. And so you will attract those spirits. And I've always been the type of person who's seeking to do good, seeking to help people. So I think I definitely attract more of those good spirits that are out there to help me, especially since I was making the effort to try and get to know people, make friends, and actually reach out to people to do things in Los Angeles since I was new. So I have been back to Griffith Park several times since then, doing other things. I've had a lot of more experiences with the supernatural or ghosts, spirits, whatever you want to go with, since then. But I don't think that is necessarily to do with that being like the first time, so therefore it's leading on to this. It's just kind of something that has happened a lot since I was born.
Before that incident, I definitely had a tremendous amount of skepticism. You always hear these people's experiences and stories, and you're always just kind of like, oh, what really happened? But it was really the first time that something like it just made you really question everything. It just made you be more open-minded because you just realize that this world's been around for millions and millions of years. It's easy to think that we can find the answers to everything, but maybe there are answers that we just don't know. And I definitely am much more of a believer now than I was before that night.